Let me ask you something straight up. Something that might feel a little too familiar the moment I say it. You ever walk out of a dealership with brand new keys in your hand? Sit in that car for the first time, smell that fresh interior, turn the key, hear the engine purr like it has never had a bad day in its life, and for just a second you think, yeah, this is it. This is what winning feels like. Then fast forward 6 months. You're staring at your phone screen, seeing that auto debit notification pop up again. $689, or $720, or whatever the number is this month. And you tell yourself the exact same sentence almost every single person in our income bracket says. It is just the payment. I can handle the payment. That one sentence, I can afford the payment, is quietly one of the most expensive lies we keep telling ourselves year after year. And the craziest part? We do not even realize we're lying. It feels truth. It feels responsible. It feels adult. But today, we're going to pull that sentence apart. Look at what's really hiding behind it. Run some real numbers, talk about the psychology that makes it so damn sticky, and see what happens when people quietly decide to stop believing it. If you're pulling in a decent salary, maybe 60 to 120K in the US after tax, or the European equivalent, paying rent or a mortgage, maybe still chipping away at student loans, trying to save something, trying to build something, this conversation is for you. Let's go slow and honest. No rush, no hype, just clarity. Picture someone who could easily be you, or your colleague, or your cousin who just got promoted. Let's call him Alex, 33 years old, lives in a mid-sized American city, say Columbus, Ohio, or maybe Bristol in the UK, or Utrecht in the Netherlands. Same story, different currency, and slightly different rent prices. Alex clears about $5,300 a month after taxes and deductions. Not rich, but comfortable. He is responsible. He has auto transfers to his 401k or pension plan. He pays his credit cards in full most months. But here is what his actual month looks like when you zoom in. Rent and mortgage, $1,900. Student loans, $340 to $420. Credit card minimums from that holiday last year or the new couch, $180 to $250. Groceries, eating out sometimes, Netflix, gym, phone bill, utilities, random life stuff, easily $1,400 to $1,600. That leaves him maybe $1,000 to $1,300 that feels like his money. Disposable, flexible, the part he can actually decide what to do with. Now, Alex needs a car. His 2016 hatchback is starting to make noises. The paint is faded, colleagues are pulling up in newer models. He feels it, that quiet pressure, not screaming pressure, just the slow drip of maybe it is time to level up a bit. So he goes to the dealership, test drives a nice compact SUV, your crossover, MSRP around $36,000 to $38,000, feels premium without being ridiculous. Sales guy runs the numbers, little to no down payment, 6.9% interest rates are what they are right now, 60 months, monthly payment lands at $710. Alex does the quick mental math in his head. Okay, that's less than 15% of my take-home. I can do $710. He signs, drives off. Feels good for a while. Here is where the lie starts doing its real work. That $710 is not just a payment. It is 5 full years of your future money already spoken for. Let us break the actual cost down very plainly. No fancy spreadsheets, just multiplication and reality. Loan amount, after any tiny down payment or fees, say $36,000 financed. At 6.9 to 7.2% over 60 months, total paid back roughly $42,800 to $43,200. Interest alone, $6,800 to $7,200. $7,000 gone. Not on gas, not on insurance, not on maintenance. Pure interest. Money that left your life and went straight to the finance company shareholders. Now, most people, when they hear that number, immediately think, okay, but I'll just stretch it to 72 months or 84 months to make the payment smaller. That is what the industry pushes hard right now. Lower monthly, easier. Yes. So let us do 72 months instead. Payment drops to maybe $580 to $610. Feels way more comfortable. Total paid now, $44,500 to $46,000. Interest, $8,500 to $10,000. You just paid an extra $2,000 to $3,000 to make the monthly number feel smaller. The car is the same. The depreciation is the same. You just gifted the bank more of your future income. Let me ask you something very direct. If someone walked up to you tomorrow and said, "Hey, I'll give you this exact car today, but you have to hand me an extra $8,000 to $10,000 over the next 6 years just for the privilege," would you say yes? Of course not. You would laugh or walk away. But when it's chopped into $90 a week bites and dressed up as the payment, it slides right past our defenses. That's not an accident. That's how the system is designed. Now let's talk about what that extra $600 to $700 a month could actually become if it was not locked into a depreciating asset. Suppose Alex had bought a clean 3-year-old version of the same car for $20,000 to $22,000 cash, or even financed a smaller amount and paid it off aggressively in 2 years. But let us keep the math dead simple. Every single month, instead of sending $650 to the finance company, he put $650 into a boring, low-cost global index fund. Historical real return after inflation around 6 to 7%. Let us use 7% to be conservative. Over 10 years, $650 a month at 7% compounded, roughly $115,000 to $120,000. Not fantasy, not crypto moonshot, just compound interest doing what it does when you give it time and consistent fuel. Over 20 years, that same habit turns into $350,000 to $400,000. The people who quietly end up with real financial breathing room in their 40s and 50s are not always the ones who earned the most. They are often the ones who refused to let hundreds of dollars a month evaporate into interest and depreciation on things that lose value while parked. So why do we keep doing it? Why do smart, analytical people, people who negotiate at work, who read the fine print on everything else, keep signing these papers? It is not ignorance, it is deeper. It is emotional engineering. First, debt feels normal now. We grew up watching parents finance cars, furniture, vacations. We finance phones. We finance education. The entire economy runs on normalized monthly payments. When the finance manager says 72 months is what almost everyone does these days, it does not sound risky. It sounds like the default setting for being an adult. Second, the car is one of the last socially acceptable status signals left. In a world where we cannot flash cash anymore, where houses are behind hedges and salaries are private, the car you drive is still public. It is visible every single day. When you pull into the office lot or park outside your kid's school, it says something. And our brains are wired to care about that signal way more than we admit. Third, and this one hurts the most, there is the reward story we tell ourselves. You have been working hard. You hit your targets. You did not get laid off when others did. You deserve something nice. Buying the newer, quieter, safer, more comfortable car feels like self-respect. It feels earned. But the finance company does not care about your story, your hard work, or what you deserve. They only care that the payment clears every month for the next 60 to 84 months. While you're feeling that little dopamine hit from the new car smell, your money is quietly working full-time for someone else. Let us fast forward a realistic 10 years. Alex is now 43. He's done the new car cycle twice, maybe 3 times. Total interest paid across those loans? $15,000 to $22,000, depending on rates and terms. That's real money that never had a chance to compound. Meanwhile, the guy in the next cubicle who bought reliable 2 to 4-year-old cars, paid cash or paid off fast, and invested the difference, He's sitting on an extra $90,000 to $150,000 in his brokerage account. Same salary range, same city, same starting point, different story about what a car actually is. The difference is not genius-level investing, it's refusing to believe the monthly payment lie. Here's what the people who quietly build real wealth actually do with cars. Not rules, not a checklist, just patterns I see over and over. They treat cars as tools that depreciate fast, not as identity upgrades. They buy when the previous owner has already eaten the worst of the depreciation, usually years 2 to 4. They pay stupidly fast, often in under 36 months, or in cash if they can. Before they ever test drive, they run the total cost of ownership in their head. Purchase price, plus interest, plus insurance delta, plus fuel, plus maintenance, plus lost investment return. And they feel completely neutral about driving something that does not turn heads, because they know the real flex is not the badge on the grill. It is the month when no car payment leaves their account anymore and never comes back. That feeling waking up and realizing thousands of dollars a year are no longer spoken for is what actual freedom tastes like. Not the new car rush, the no car payment peace. I am not saying you have to drive a 12-year-old beater forever. I am not saying never enjoy a nice car. I am saying see the full price tag before you sign, not the monthly number, the real one. Because once you see it clearly, once you realize I can afford the payment, usually means I am voluntarily giving away thousands of future dollars so I can feel good today, you cannot pretend you do not see it anymore. And from that moment, every car decision becomes a real choice instead of an autopilot habit. So next time you're scrolling car listings, or the salesman is running numbers, or you're sitting in a showroom thinking, this one feels right, just pause for 5 seconds and ask yourself one question. Am I buying 4 wheels and an engine, or am I buying another 5 to 7 year monthly obligation? That tiny pause has changed more financial trajectories than any budget app or side hustle ever could. If this conversation landed with you, if it made you pull up your own numbers and look at them differently, I would really appreciate you dropping a like. It helps these kinds of calm, no-nonsense talks reach more people who are quietly asking the same questions. And if you want more breakdowns like this, real stories, real math, no motivational fluff, then hit subscribe. I'll be back next week with another one. Until then, take care, and think about what you're actually signing up for. Talk soon.